Well, it's mid-June and we're back in Kentucky, and today I'm headed down to the Cumberland River. I was there last week and had a little bit of luck catching some trout. The conditions today look to be about what they were a week ago. Water may be a little bit higher. We've had some rain in the past week and we're getting more tomorrow, so I thought I would take advantage of what's going on today. 20% chance of rain, and go on down there and see what's going on. I've got both my 7-weight rod for streamers and my 5-weight rod for dries and nymphs, and I plan to try them both. We'll see what happens when I get down there. 2.5 hours later, I'm down here at Traces on the Cumberland, at the boat ramp on the Cumberland River. I see there's a couple of guys in a John boat drifting downstream. Other than that, I should have the place to myself. Right now the water's up a little higher than it was last week, just as I figured, but there's no generation at Wolf Creek Dam. I just came over it, and I don't believe there has been any since last night. They may start up again later in the afternoon, but they'll probably be out 12 hours of no generation, so this water should start to decline. How quick, I don't know. I'll probably start off fishing on this side of the river, wading along the bank here, using a streamer, and then I'll have my canoe with me. And later on, when the water goes down, as I hope it will, I'll cross over and fish that strip that you see across the water over there. There's a rocky bottom, and once the water gets down another foot or two, you can wade, and there's some good fishing over there as well. So we'll see. It looks like a pretty good flow today. I don't see any storms in the vicinity at the moment, so I'm gonna get the boat off the roof of the car and put my waders on and see what I can catch. Okay, got my waders on and tied on a little streamer, a little white streamer called this Crystal Schminnow. I think I tied it last year. It's on about a size 10 hook. I was catching trout on this last year. I think I'll start off with this and see how it goes. It's a pretty bright day, so maybe the white color will work. If not, I'll try something darker a little later. I'll fish streamers over on this side. Then later, if I get a chance to fish on the opposite bank, I'll switch over to the 5-weight and maybe some nymphs and some dry flies. We'll see. It's a little gusty at the moment. We'll see if that gets any better or worse, but I should be okay over here with the streamer and the sink tip line that I'll be. I've been fishing a little over an hour. Kept on that white streamer. Haven't had a single bite. I'm thinking about switching over to a darker fly just for variety's sake. I'm waiting for the water to drop a little. I'm in a spot right now where I caught 3 or 4 last week on this same fly, but the water was down about a foot compared to what it is now, so it may be that the fly is just floating over the head of these fish, or for some other reason they're just not interested. Across the way you'll see a line of tall weeds. It's a stony island at the moment. Just below that, to the right of it, there's a rock wall which is currently submerged. At some point in the afternoon, I'm hoping that rock wall will become exposed and dry, and that's the point where I know I can get over there and wade some. It's just below the surface right now. I'm hoping in another hour or two, though, that the water will drop enough for me to paddle my canoe over there. But let me change flies and see if it makes any difference. I'd like to wade down this one section a little further, but it's just a little high, and the current's just a bit too strong this week. I was able to wade almost as far down as that log that you see on the right side last week, but this week it's just a little too much. So gonna wait and see what happens. It's getting on 1:30 right now. Haven't had any luck at all. Changed to the darker streamer, but it didn't make any difference whatsoever. And I'm not really seeing any drop in the water level. I thought by now it would start to show a little decline, but it hasn't. It seems to me it's a waste of time just staying over here where I am now, throwing streamers. I think I'm going to take the canoe across over to the other side and see if I can get in a little wading over there. It's a little deeper over there, but it's different. And maybe the fish have moved from this side to that side. Who knows? But it's a long drive down here, and I hate to just turn around and go home now after only 2 hours of giving it a chance. So I think I'll go on over to the other side and see if I have any better luck over there. I'm over here on the opposite bank. I think I'll be able to do a little bit of wading here. Probably won't be able to get out very far, but I can walk along the edge of the shoreline here. And at least over here you don't have trees behind you, so there's less chance you'll catch your back cast on something. I switched over back to the other white fly that I started with. I don't know if it'll do any better, but I know I caught some fish with it last week, so I have a touch more confidence in that at this point than the black one. I'll just wade down here for a while and see what happens, and may give it a couple hours, and if nothing has happened by 4 or 4:30, I may just call it a day and head home, but still might catch something. We'll see. Well, the skunk is gone. It's been a while. Getting ready to give up entirely. Just go on home, but this rainbow, about 8 or 9 inches, just hit the crystal minnow. I noticed the water level is getting just a tiny bit lower. You might be able to see far down there that the rocks are just starting to poke up out of the water down there, which indicates that maybe the lack of generation of water since last night at the dam is starting to have an effect. I need to let this guy go and see if I can catch some more. I may stay another hour or two now. I was getting ready to go home, but he's not a giant, but boy, today I'll take him. Well, even though I just caught something on that other rig using the white streamer, it's getting a lot of snags. The sink tip line was bringing that fly way down low, and I was getting snagged on just about every cast, kind of getting tired of it. So I decided just to switch, just for a change of pace, and I'm picking up the 5-weight rod, which is a bit lighter, and I've got a Copper John nymph on here, and I've got a little indicator on to help me see if they get any bites. But this will be a little easier to cast, and just thought I'd give it a chance for a little while. I just had another trout on, probably about the same size as the first one. This one hit that Copper John nymph, but I didn't manage to get to see him. He just didn't feel very big, but as the water drops, I guess the fishing's going to improve. But it's already almost 4 o'clock, and I'm getting a little tired, so I don't know. I may end up lasting out here another hour or so. I'm not really sure, but we'll see how the action goes. If I get a couple more bites, that might encourage me to stay longer. Here I am back on the first side, where I started from. I think I'm going to go back one more time to the 7-weight and the streamer now that the water level has dropped. I might be able to get a little further out and a little further downstream to the spot where I was catching some fish last week. It's about 10 after 4 right now, quarter after 4. I'll give it till about 5 o'clock and see how I do. If I haven't caught anything by 5 o'clock, I may just pack it in at that point, but I'll give it a little more time. I've got my Gheenoe, or Gheenoe, however you pronounce the name of this boat, hitched up to my Subaru. I'm going to be heading up north to Bolts Lake. It's a small lake off I-75, about 50 miles north of Lexington, towards Cincinnati. I was there the other day with a friend, and we caught some white crappie. Not a lot, but enough to make the day fun. I'm going to go back there and see if I can catch some more now that we've got some dry weather. They were biting pretty good the other day on spinners, used with spinning rods and spinning reels, so I thought I would tie up some small flies and see if I could catch some of those fish on the fly rod today. We'll see, but it's about an hour and 15 minutes north of here, and I'm just about to leave. Well, here I am at Bolts Lake, Right on time. Only made one false move. Left home without the trolling motor, which I realized about 1 mile into the trip, so I had to make a quick U-turn and come back and get it. I've got a list of things that I look over before I set out to make sure I have everything, but somehow I passed right over trolling motor on the list and forgot it. I had the battery, but I didn't have the trolling motor. But anyway, I'm going to motor down to the far end of the lake, close to I-75, and then turn the motor off and maybe do a little fly fishing for some of those white crappie. See how it... Well, I'll be darned. Just been fishing a couple of minutes. Put on one of the dark brown schminnows that I tied up yesterday at home just to see if it'd work out here, and I already caught a bluegill. So that's very good, very good. If I catch some more of these, I'll be happy. I don't know, I may try for some larger bass later, but for right now I'll try for some bluegill and some of these white crappie. Let me get this guy. Well, they're not very big, but this is the 4th or 5th one that I've caught in the last, I don't know, 45 minutes or so since I started fishing. But these are flies I tied up myself, and they're coming out and attacking it, so I'm enjoying it. I think I'll just stick with what I'm doing for the time being. Well, here's what I thought I'd be catching today. This is a crappie, a white crappie. I've caught them in here before in past years, but they were a little small in this one. This one, well, he's not a giant, but he's at least a little bigger than the ones that I was catching in the past. I had one on earlier, but he came off. But catching a fish every 10 to 15 minutes, working along this shoreline with my little black and red schminnow streamer. So I'll keep it up for a while. Got a little bit of a cloud cover now, which is nice. It was getting hot earlier, so it's a pretty pleasant day out here. Well, I decided to try bass fishing for a little while with the worm like I do in Florida. And here he is. Not the biggest bass, but well, maybe 8 inches, something like that. So it was worth changing over. Now let me get this guy back in the water. He's already bleeding a little bit, so let me get him back in the water as soon as possible. It's a little after 3 o'clock. I'm going to fish for another 20-25 minutes or so. Been switching off back and forth between the fly rod and the rubber worm for bass. I think I'll go back to the fly rod now. I don't think the bass are going to be hitting in the area I'm going to be fishing, but maybe I'll pick up a few more, maybe a few more bluegill or those white crappie. Who knows? But we'll give it a try. Well, it's a little past 3:30, and I think I'm about to head home. It's still pretty nice out here. A little warm. Got a long drive ahead of me. Caught one more bluegill in the last half hour or so, and just lost probably another in the last cast of the day. So I think it's about time to head home. Take about an hour and a half to get home with the traffic, so I'm going to turn on the gas engine and head toward that boat ramp that way. That'll be the end of today.